Once upon a time, in a kingdom filled with rolling green hills and sparkling rivers, there stood a tall, ivy-covered tower hidden deep in an enchanted forest. Inside that tower lived a young girl named Rapunzel. Rapunzel was not an ordinary girl. She had hair as golden as sunlight, so long it flowed down the tower like a waterfall of silk. But Rapunzel didn't mind her long hair, in fact. She loved it. She would braid it with ribbons, tie flowers into it, and even use it to swing around her tower when she was feeling playful. But more than anything, Rapunzel loved to cook. The tower was filled with animals, bunnies, squirrels, birds, and even a chubby little bear who had wandered in one day and never left. Rapunzel treated them like family, and every morning they all gathered in her warm, sunlit kitchen for breakfast. One beautiful morning, golden rays streamed through Rapunzel's window, filling the room with light. Rapunzel stretched, yawned, and smiled at the sound of tiny paws scurrying across the floor. "Good morning, everyone," she sang, as the animals gathered around her feet. The bunnies wiggled their noses, the birds chirped sweet songs, and the chubby bear let out a happy, "Hm." Rapunzel laughed. I know, breakfast time." Today was a special day. Rapunzel had decided to make pancakes with fresh strawberries, honey, and whipped cream. She tied back her long hair with a bright red ribbon, rolled up her sleeves, and got to work. She stirred the batter while the birds fluttered around, fetching eggs from the basket. The squirrels helped gather tiny wild strawberries from the garden outside, and the bear, well, he mostly waited patiently, licking his lips. Before long, the tower kitchen smelled of sweet vanilla and warm butter. Rapunzel stacked the golden pancakes high, poured honey over them, added strawberries, and topped it all with a dollop of cream. Just as Rapunzel sat down with her fork and knife, ready to enjoy her meal with her furry friends, there came a soft knock at the tower door. Knock, knock, knock. Rapunzel paused, surprised. No one ever visited the tower. Carefully, she tiptoed to the door, peeked through the keyhole, and gasped. There, standing outside, was a young prince with bright eyes, a kind smile, and a crown slightly crooked on his head. "Hello?" the prince called up. "Is this where Rapunzel lives?" Rapunzel hesitated for a moment, then opened the window. "Yes, that's me. Who are you?" The prince smiled. "I'm Prince Leo. I was walking through the forest and smelled the most delicious pancakes. I followed the scent here." Rapunzel laughed, her heart warming at his cheerful grin. "Well, you're just in time for breakfast." Rapunzel had a little problem. The tower door was locked with magic, and she didn't have the key, but that never stopped her. She leaned out the window and called, "Prince Leo, grab onto my hair and I'll pull you up." The prince's eyes widened. "Are you sure?" "Of course. It's stronger than it looks." Rapunzel winked. Carefully, Leo climbed the long golden braid, and with a little help from Rapunzel's strong arms, he made it to the window and tumbled inside, laughing. "Wow," he said, catching his breath. "You're amazing." Rapunzel smiled shyly. "Thanks. Come join us. The pancakes are ready." Soon they were all seated around the big wooden table. Rapunzel, Prince Leo, the bunnies, the birds, the squirrels, and the bear. Rapunzel poured syrup over Leo's stack, the bunnies nibbled on tiny pancakes, and the bear happily gobbled his share, humming with joy. As they ate, Rapunzel and Leo shared stories. She told him about her life in the tower, how the sorceress who once kept her there had long ago left, how she found joy in painting, reading, and cooking, and how the animals became her family. Leo shared his adventures traveling the kingdom, his love for nature, and his dream of finding someone kind and brave to explore the world with. Rapunzel's heart fluttered. For the first time, she wondered what life beyond the tower might be like. After breakfast, Rapunzel showed Leo her little world, the garden she had planted, the library she adored, and the paintings that covered her walls. Leo listened carefully, amazed by her creativity and kindness. "You've made this place into a home of love," he said softly. Rapunzel gazed out the window at the wide open forest. "I've always loved it here, but sometimes I wonder, what else is out there?" Leo smiled. "Why don't we find out together?" The idea thrilled Rapunzel and made her nervous all at once. But when she looked at her animals, the bunnies twitching their noses, the birds tilting their heads, the bear giving her an encouraging nudge, she felt brave. Rapunzel gathered a small bag, a loaf of bread, a jar of honey, a flask of tea, her magic comb to tame her long hair, and of course a bundle of pancakes for the road. Rapunzel took a deep breath, took his hand, and smiled. Ready. With her hair braided over her shoulder, her animals at her side, and Leo by her hand, Rapunzel stepped out of the tower for the first time in years. The forest greeted them with singing birds, rustling leaves, and beams of sunlight dancing through the trees. Rapunzel was in awe. Every flower, every tree, every breeze felt like magic. Rapunzel painted wildflowers on rocks, braided her hair with daisies, and shared pancakes with children they met in the villages. Everywhere they went, Rapunzel brought joy with her kindness, her songs, and yes, even her delicious pancakes. In time, they reached the royal castle, where Rapunzel was welcomed with open arms. She became not just a princess, but a beloved friend to the kingdom. But Rapunzel never stopped being who she was. She still braided flowers in her hair, still made pancakes for breakfast, and still surrounded herself with animals and laughter. And as for Leo, he was happiest by Rapunzel's side, whether they were painting the castle walls, feeding squirrels in the garden, or exploring the world together. And so, Rapunzel, the girl with the golden hair, the magic heart, and the best pancakes in the kingdom, lived happily ever after. The end.